And also my friend and a primate advocate here in Singapore, Sabrina, is also in the meeting. So we are all very glad to do outreach for our native wild animals and ways to protect. And thanks, Ambari, for this very nice introduction to the pangolins and the plight that they have. So in today's sharing session, I will cover about what troubles do they face in Singapore and how each and every one of us here can play a role in helping them. So let me share my screen. So I have a pangolin next to me, not a real one. I try to do, we can't bring a real one for welfare reasons, right? But you have already seen the video of how they look like. But they are this very gentle animals who are mammals with scales. And most often people mistake them for reptiles. And the only defense they really have is to have these scales and curl themselves up into a ball to protect themselves. Like what the video shared, this did not protect them from human beings, from the illegal wildlife trade issue. However, in Singapore, there are other ways that we all can help them as well. That's something that I will share. I will do it very quickly, but before we move on, if you're wondering what ACRES does, what we really do is give animals a voice to speak up on them through different focus areas. So keeping time in mind, I'll move on to the issue of pangolins. There are 8 living species of pangolins in the world, and 4 of them are found in Asia. And this is a species of focus today for today's event, even though the World Pangolin Day is for all pangolins who suffer from the illegal wildlife trade issue and habitat loss. So the Sunda pangolins are critically endangered. From our calls, we run a 24-hour wildlife rescue hotline, which handles cases related to people sighting snakes and injured bats and even pangolins on the road if they are injured or found stranded. Just a moment. So, and if you notice in our, this photo collage, you will see the different kind of wild animals. So whatever I'm going to share for pangolins, the steps that you can take will also help other wildlife here in Singapore. And just in 2021, we handled about 30 Sunda pangolin cases. And this is just from ACRES. There are also other members that we will share shortly who also have helped pangolins through different ways. So are they in trouble in Singapore? That's the question, right? So here is a photo that was taken from an MRT station. I think this was near Bukit Panjang. So this pangolin was stranded. You can see one of our volunteers behind walking towards, and somebody called us to help the pangolin because the pangolin was lost in the urban jungle. So we rescued the pangolin. We worked together with the zoo, which is a Mandai Wildlife Group, and parks. And also researchers. So a lot of information is collected. The pangolin is properly, examined to ensure that he or she can be released back into a suitable habitat. We also try to look at whether this pangolin was captured before and released. So we understand where are the pangolins moving around and what exactly they are doing. We still don't know a lot about these animals, but again, they also deserve a safe place here in Singapore to live and survive. And it is so amazing and special that we have unfortunately critically endangered, but we have these pangolins here in Singapore. Many of us may not even be aware. We always think that all these unique or endangered animals are not in Singapore. Singapore is a concrete jungle. They're all found in other parts of Asia and other parts of the world. But we have a population of pangolins here. And I think that makes it very, very special, unique, the fact that they are protected. But again, why are they in trouble? So globally, they do face problems from being traded. It's so sad that they are the most trafficked mammal among all the other traded mammal species as well, because they are so gentle and they're almost defenseless in that sense. And they form 20% of all of the illegal wildlife trade. So there have been cases of scales, pangolin scales, being traded through Singapore. shipped through Singapore. Just a couple of years ago, close to 30 tons of dried pangolin scales were caught. This is a very depressing photo. It's a heart-wrenching photo for people like all of us who are working for these animals day in and day out, because these are dried scales. These are not even the actual pangolins. Can you imagine how many pangolins would have lost their lives in order to be processed into this dry scales for the consumption for the traditional medicine? So, of course, saying no to wildlife products used in traditional medicine is a very big step that will help these animals. If you're wondering how else are they in trouble in Singapore, right? So this is a Google map of Tengah. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this location. This is Sungai Tengah area. And you know now the Tengah town is being developed. Many of you would have read in the news and how forests are being cleared. I just wanted to show you how it is for a wild animal in Singapore to cross when there is a lot of development. So this is Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, and the red dotted lines is to show how a wild animal could cross. So if the animal is trying to imagine a pangolin, for example, but I always ask people to imagine a monkey, is trying to cross from this nature reserve to go to the western catchment, which is in the Lim Chu Kang, Old Choa Chu Kang side. So they have to cross the Upper Bukit Timah Road. Even if they manage to do that, they have to cross a lot of housing estate here. Some of them are condos, some of them are landed properties, HDB areas. Then they go to this green patch. After that, they are trying to cross here. And then you see this, bald patch of deforested area here beside Bukit Batok Road. I'm sorry, I think my internet connection was unstable for a little bit. But if the wild animal managed to cross all this way, now he or she has to cross Bukit Batok Road. Imagine this is a pangolin trying to cross. For us, it may look like, okay, I'll just cross a road and then go to Tengah Forest, right? But for the animal's point of view, this is how Bukit Batok Road looks like. There are barricades everywhere. This is a 6-lane road, 3 lanes here, 3 lanes there. Even if the animal crosses, there's actually a hoarding there. It will enter a construction site. So it can be very, a feeling of feeling lost in the urban jungle, even though we have a lot of greenery. So they do take risks of crossing roads, highways, sometimes even residential areas. That's where they can get stranded. Unfortunately, many of them do become a roadkill. And imagine having a critically endangered species that's suffering all over the world, and we have a good population here in Singapore, and we are losing them out to becoming a roadkill. That is so sad, right? That's something that we have to do something about, and we all can take action for them. So what happens when they cross is they have to cross fencing. Sometimes they climb a tree in a HDB area. This is a pangolin sleeping on a pile of newspapers outside Casuarina Curry. I'm sure all of you know the Prata place, right? So it was at 3 a.m. we got this call. They do get lost in urban environment, and this is a sad pangolin roadkill case by the side of the road. They do get into different kinds of trouble here. They get stuck in man-made structures like this, and they are rescued. The zoo and acres, both of us try and help them as much. If they need specialized care, they go to the zoo for further care before they are ready for release. And we also sometimes extract them, rescue them from under the vehicles. You might be wondering, why is the pangolin going inside? It's not because there's warmth and all that. It's really because they just want to get away from people. So if they're crossing the road and they suddenly feel threatened, cornered, and they see a vehicle, they try to climb inside to just purely hide. So they can feel safe. So things like that can happen. Then we try to rescue. And here there was someone who called us for a pangolin who managed to cross a few roads, went to the divider, but already was injured and tried to climb up a tree, stuck near a tree. So we rescued, and this is another example of how we all work together. So after rescue, we realized the animal needed specialized care, and the zoo took him in for further treatment before they can be released back into the wild. So if you're wondering who helps them, this is important because we always know about, oh, this is happening in this country. they are saving elephants, they are saving, polar bears, but we need to also know what we are doing in Singapore to protect our own native wildlife. There is a lot of efforts that actually goes into helping these animals in trouble. There is a special Singapore pangolin working group that Ambari also shared earlier. So we all put our efforts together in order to help them. We have a 24-hour hotline, and NPARKS has a 24-hour hotline, and the zoo helps with all the monitoring research before they are ready to be released back. But also there's regional and international efforts, which the working group becomes a part of. So I would encourage you guys to visit the Singapore Pangolin Working Group website, which my colleague Sabrina has shared in the group chat. So please do visit to learn a little bit more. But because it's Pangolin Day, so I just wanted to share this video.
Do you have sound? Does this?
Sound.
No,
yes,
we don't.
There is. Okay, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Let me just
you have to share it again with the sound on. Yeah. That's what I had forgotten to do as well. Yeah.
Okay, it should be fine now.
Yes.
Gave a gist of what happened last year with quite a few pangolins, and having 20 pangolin cases in a year it may seem like a small number to you guys, but that is a very significant number actually, because compared to other animals it may seem like a smaller number. So we have this special group of animals here in Singapore, so we definitely have that responsibility to protect them. So how can you this last of my presentation, I just wanted to share on 3 things. If you do come across pangolin products, it's completely illegal here in Singapore. or people using them, try to raise awareness. But also, if you do see sale at shops or online platforms, or even attempts to trap them, sometimes people may be unaware. They think that they look very cute, I just bring them home. It has happened in some of the farms before. So please do report to the government agency, which is the NPAC's hotline. It's a 24-hour number, or you can choose to give us a call. Ours is also a 24-hour number. I would really encourage you to save these numbers. Our handphone number 97837782. I hope you don't have to use it, but if you do need help or do need clarification, just give us a call or a message to check. And there is this website that Sabrina earlier shared in the chat. Please do bookmark those to learn a little bit more. If you have friends, family members, or students, young students that you know of, please do share with them to learn about the local efforts and spread the word. And this website also collects recording sightings. So if you do come across a pangolin on your walk, just share the data on this website. But if you happen to post on your own social media platform, remember not to reveal the exact location of the sighting, just because it's they are very treasured in the trade. So we don't want something funny happening to these animals, people going and looking for them and hurting them. This applies to also other animals who are sensitive species. And of course, the first and the foremost one is please drive mindfully and look out for wildlife. Driving mindfully near nature areas, whether it's in Thompson or Pasir Ris or near Mandai or in Choa Chu Kang, that will help a lot of animals, whether it's pangolins or even other smaller animals. But pangolins are slower moving. And it is so sad when they get affected. We have rescued and seen mother and baby together, or sometimes mother killed and the baby is still alive. It is just very, very heartbreaking. And they go through a lot to be able to just survive here. So let's not make them a victim of roadkills, and also raise awareness amongst your friends and family on such issues. Even when I take a taxi, I talk to my taxi driver, uncle or auntie. I talk to them about these issues when they're driving past. So you always can be a catalyst to raise awareness. So that is my last slide, and I'm just going to end it with this short clip. Sorry, it's a 360 video, so it might be a bit confusing for you, but this is the release of a mother and the baby pangolin. You see how cute and cool it is because the baby actually rides on the mother's back and the tail. How adorable is that? And they are so special and unique, and I think that places a huge responsibility also for all of us to play our role in protecting them. Look at that, the baby will then latch on to the mom. And there they go. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And yeah, I'll stop sharing now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anbu. I have so much love and admiration in my heart for Acres. Since the time I've landed in Singapore in 2011, I knew about Acres, and I've been following the kind of fantastic work that you do. I know that you're always less in number and there's a lot of work that you have to do, and I congratulate you. I congratulate Acres for the fantastic work that you're doing. You are so inspirational. And talking about pangolins, I think because of the way they look, because they look like reptiles, but they're actually mammals, and they have scales, but they're still mammals. I think these contradictions actually make them more elusive to humans than they are. But actually, they are just like any other animal when it comes to, feelings, like feeling for your younger one, loving your mother, and struggling to live a life free of pain and suffering. Thank you so much, Anbu, for this fantastic talk. And I'd like to welcome the working group, Singapore Pangolin Working Group. Do we have somebody from that group?
Yes, Dr. Sonja is here.
Hi, Sonja. Yes. Hi, Sonja. I can see you.
Hi, everyone. Very good morning and happy Pangolin Day. I think Anbu said it all in this video that was shown at the beginning of this session. really summarizes the plight of the pangolin. We are in a critical situation still for that species, and we have to do everything we can. And Singapore is a stronghold, and that's amazing, really. I mean, actually, not just for the pangolin, for a number of other globally critically endangered species, such as straw-headed bulbul, like songbirds, or such species that are really find a home in Singapore. So we have to really do everything to keep them around here. I work for the Wildlife Group, Mandai Wildlife Group, formerly WRS, and also for Mandai Nature. I'm the Deputy CEO and the co-chair of the Singapore Pangolin Working Group. And what is absolutely fascinating and amazing is how all stakeholders in Singapore really are trying to come together and doing good stuff for pangolin, and spreading the word to folks like you that obviously are keen and open to learn, and bringing more people to the fold to help us fight this good fight. As you've heard, like in the region and globally, pangolins suffer largely from illegal trafficking for traditional medicine and such. In Singapore, it is not the trafficking, it is the traffic. That is our problem largely, and the biggest threat to our pangolins is really the disconnectivity of our natural habitats. So, like Anbu said, really watching out for these animals, but not just for pangolins, but for any wildlife crossing roads, getting people to understand what we have around us that we need to watch out for is really important. So it is a real pleasure to be here, and both Anbu, myself, like the whole Acres team, the Mandai Wildlife Group team, but also the NParks team and the Jane Goodall team, and all our nature enthusiast group that we are here in Singapore, would love to work with people like you. If you have any ideas or any suggestions or any interest in getting involved, to just reach out and stay involved so that we can spread the word even further. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sonia. Yes, definitely. I think as Rotarians now, we are waking up to our responsibility towards the environment. And a lot of times when it comes to saving the environment, the first thing that comes to our mind to a lot of people is just recycle or less water and all of that. But then the fact that wildlife and for our
Sorry, I think she's breaking up. I don't know if it's just for me or if the rest of you guys.
Same for me as well.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I hope nobody in my house is watching cartoons downstairs. Okay. Partying. I don't know what's happening. So anyway, I was just thanking everybody, thanking Dr. Sonia as well as Anbu for this wonderful talk. And I just want to say that we are all responsible for ourselves and our fellow earthlings, who I always call them as my brothers and sisters. These animals are our brothers and sisters because we belong to Mother Earth, and it is our responsibility to protect the planet. With that, I think we come to the last section of our event, which is where Rotarian Maria is going to say something. But before that, I'd like to welcome once again District Governor Dolly. When I had invited her a few weeks back, she had informed me that she might not be able to join because she at that time, I think she was planning to travel. But then I'm so happy that she's here, and I'd like to invite you to please say a few words, DG, so that we can all acknowledge you.
Thank you, Rotarian Amari. Yes, I was supposed to be in Kota Kinabalu, this weekend, but due to the pandemic, I cannot travel. So there was a letter given by the government, I think, saying that we cannot hold an event. I was supposed to be there for the World Rotary Days. It's one of our Rotary Days event. In fact, today I'm supposed to be in Labuan. And so all this has been, shattered, and I can't travel. But I'm looking forward to travel to Singapore next week. So that is something, a bonus that I'm looking forward to. But I'm really happy to be here this morning and listen to the talk, which we never thought of it, that, you know, it actually exists in Singapore. I was staying in Singapore, you know, for the past almost 10 years because my children are studying there, but now I'm back in Johor Bahru. And this is something amazing, you know. Thank you, Anbarasi, for bringing this out. I think more of us should be educated in this wildlife, especially the, you know, animals like who are going to be, distinct. And you know, I'm happy to spend my morning here listening, and the videos are good. And I'm just wondering, are these pets animals? Are they? You know, I've not heard saying it's all for medical purposes. Can we actually keep them as pets? You know, so it came to my mind, you know, and the number of scales they have in the body. My gosh, if I've never been here this morning, I don't even know that, you know, they have so many scales on their body. I only know they are ant eaters. In my mind, that came into, you know, that is how we are being educated. Everybody knows it's an ant eater, and I mean ant eater, and then they will sit in. Every time I see a big tree, I say, would that be, you know, something like that in there, you know? But I'm not seeing them in Johor Bahru because I'm practicing my walk now in one of the, they call it a hutan bandar in town, and I don't see them here. So I'm very happy, and it's very educational for me this morning. I hope those Rotarians who are here, even as far as Sabah, Norma is here, as far as Australia, you know, and also in Kuching. And in Kuching this morning, there's an event going on, planting trees. All right, and I see Troy, we're interested too, and Takshin is here. So I wish there are more attendance, but sorry, we have been. In fact, this morning I did all the posting too for, you know, our chat group in Sarawak, that is East Malaysia, in Sabah and Sarawak. I did that too this morning, and some in my club. You know, I believe maybe it's something that they don't know how, you know, how knowledgeable this morning could be. I wish there are more, and Rotary Amari is very good. He's very, I would say, consistent, educating us about the environment, and I'm very happy about that. So she's part of the team in my committee environment. In fact, Rotary started one of the area of focus this year, environment. Yeah. So we are definitely into it. I leave all to Amari and the clubs, all right, to come together and how we can work together on this, right? So thank you for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DG. And I'm going to now open it up to everyone else. If you have any questions, then our experts, which are Anbu and Sonia, are here to answer any questions. Anybody?
Yeah, can I ask what's the lifespan of this pangolin?
What's the lifespan? Okay.
Yeah. Sonia, do you want to take this one?
Sure, no problem. So pangolins are typically not kept under human care. So we have limited data to what's the longest living pangolin in captivity. But of what I know from our colleagues from China, from Taiwan, actually, Taipei Zoo, which are probably the ones that have been managing them the longest, is up to 20 years. I mean, they do live a good long life, and probably even longer. And so, yeah, it's the ones we see often that are brought to us are the younger ones, right? These are the little guys that are just dispersing from their parents and trying to fend for themselves, and so they have a long life ahead of them that they have to make possible in this urban jungle, like Anbu quoted so well. Yeah,
I don't think I ever see any pangolin in Kuching though, but in the National Geographic channel, I do watch a lot.
Thank you, Pauline. We have another question in the chat box from Sosim. He's asking, what's the difference between an anteater and pangolin? Oh, okay, yeah, anteater and pangolin. The difference between the two.
Yeah, so it's a completely different species, obviously, found in a different geography. So if you know the anteaters that we typically know, that you can also see at the zoo, the big black and white hairy large Southeast Asian anteaters, you know, that are the ones that are best known, I guess. And then you got, of course, tamaduas, another species of anteaters. But the pangolin is really quite different. While it is an ant-eating or termite-eating mammal, it looks quite different, as you have learned. You know, it is covered completely with scales, has a very different behavior. We have no South American pangolins. The only species of pangolins that there are 4 species in Africa and 4 in Asia. So quite a different geography. So overall, just a different species with a similar behavior of preferring these tiny little insects as their favorite food, which makes them also quite important as in their ecological role to keep the forest clean of termites and insects that really, if out of balance, can cause quite a lot of damage. So they're quite an important little forest patrol police for these kind of things. And yeah, so quite different of the hairy anteaters that we typically know. And actually, a lot of people think they are reptiles. You know, when people don't know and see them for the first time, they think, oh, they're so scaly, it must be a reptile. But so, yeah, no, they're not. They're very well armed mammals. Yeah.
And who would think that, you know, like like they really look like reptiles, and imagine them, actually they're mammals, which means that they give birth to their younger ones, and then they breastfeed their younger ones, which actually makes them mammals, so much like us. There's another question: are they related to the
armadillos? No, again, a different species, different geography. I just thought about that because this is probably the one that they're most mistaken for. Again, the armadillo as a South American species, quite differently built and armored, but similar in some sense. Yeah, so you could get them confused, but I guess it is about where they are found, and again, a very different species altogether. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Are these animals also, since they are there are so many pangolins actually in the wild in Singapore, but they must be also there in Malaysia, don't you think?
Yeah. So the Sunda pangolin in particular is found around Southeast Asia. So all the different, like you find them in Indonesia, Malaysia, up Thailand, everywhere. The numbers, however, are very small, and the risk, of course, outside of Singapore is largely the illegal poaching and trade of pangolins. So seeing a pangolin in the wild is really a pretty rare sight. But yes, they are definitely also found there. So this is where our work as the Singapore Pangolin Working Group expands into what we call the global IUCN, International Union for Conservation Species Survival Commission Specialist Group for Pangolins. So this is the global group that addresses this issue, and that reaches, of course, beyond Singapore's borders into the other range countries. And we have, a few years back, we actually created a national action plan for Sunda pangolins. How do we manage, as a collaboration here in Singapore, the issues? We have also developed a regional Sunda pangolin action plan together with the stakeholders from around the region to really map out what we can do together and what key issues need to be addressed in at a national level, but also at a regional level. And that obviously relates to how we fight the illegal trade and how do we create more awareness and curb the demand for pangolin products. Yeah.
Okay. So is there the only way to identify that a product has pangolin ingredients is like just a photo of it? I mean, why would if I am an illegal trafficker, or let's say I'm an illegal seller of these products, I wouldn't put the photo of the pangolin because I'll be scared that I'll get caught, right? How do you spot a product that it has a pangolin related ingredient or no, if there is no photo?
I let Andrew answer to this because they've been working on the Singapore shop side. Yeah.
Thanks, Sonia. Actually, we don't get to see, particularly if it's in a different language that we are not able to understand. In the past, the product did have the label with the image of a pangolin. But thankfully, due to increased awareness, enforcement, investigative work, we don't see such products in the shops anymore. But maybe if they do sell online, that is the suspicion that we have. It may not, or trying to sell through Telegram or something, it may be in a different language. It could be, not be in English. So that is why we need more eyes and ears, not just for pangolin products, but also for other prohibited wildlife. I mean, Singapore has very good laws to protect wild animals. For example, all snakes are not allowed to be sold and kept as pets. All primates, like all monkeys, primates, they are not allowed to be sold. And so it's very clear cut what is allowed to be kept as pets or to even consume. So these protected wild animals like rhinos, bears, tigers, all pangolins, it's all very clear cut. Their products or derivatives cannot be sold. So if you do come across one outright, just report. Even if it's mentioned in the ingredients as a blend, sometimes traditional medicines are a blend of, concoction of different things together. So even if the ingredient, one of the ingredient has these wildlife products, you can directly report to NPAPs, or you can choose to also inform ACRES.
And an important approach to addressing the use of pangolin scales in traditional medicine is again to raise awareness and reduce the demand, but also very importantly working with traditional medicine practitioners to not prescribe pangolin scales, but prescribe alternative traditional medicines that can address similar issues, but don't threaten species or and that is not just animals but also plants. So the point is there's absolutely nothing wrong with traditional medicine. This is where we got all our medicine from, right? This is the mother of it all, and it is really, really important and has a true place in our healthcare system, I think. But we need to just work closer with I think with the doctors themselves to say that they are the ones encouraging their customers to choose other products because it is not sustainable using pangolin scales.
That's such an important point what Sonia shared. One good example is for Singapore would be the bear industry. So there's another organization in China who worked on the shongtan, the bear bile that's used in the traditional medicine widely, and it was used to, Singapore used to sell them very widely before, like 3 in 5 shops had them. So there was a booklet that was published with alternatives to bear bile. And it was published by the TCM practitioners. It was not published just by wildlife groups. So it was done in collaboration with TCM practitioners, the TCM college here in Singapore. So the practitioners actually bought into this fact that, okay, let's all play a role in protecting wildlife, choosing alternatives. So people who approach them asking for a specific wildlife product, the practitioners were able to offer an alternative to it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anbu. Thank you so much, Sonia.